MPQ Mastery, where we teach you to destroy more gems. I am your host, Aloy, and today I have 6 tips for beginning players that are super important, and I'm going to get into that right now. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification for future videos as well. We're just getting started. Tip number 1, target the right enemies. It's one of those things that I didn't even realize wasn't obvious until someone asked me about it. There's a little symbol, it's a circle with an arrow in it on the enemy side of the board, your opponent, whether it's PvP or PvE. And you press that in order to choose which enemies you plan on hitting with your next match or power. And this is so crucial to being able to win a fight quickly and without sustaining tons of damage. You have to make sure you take out specific enemies first, and the only way you can do that is if you know that you can. Tip number 2 on the back side of that is your own team order. First off, it's good to mix the different colors for your teams. So if you have one character who's red, black, blue, you may want another character who's purple, yellow, green. Because usually whichever character does the most damage with that color gem becomes their symbol. And why is that important? Because when you make a match, whatever symbol's on the match that you just made, that character moves to the front. Whether or not there's secondary or falling damage and stuff afterwards, that first match is the one that's going to move that character to the front, which means any damage that comes in the next turn, they're the ones to take it. So this is super important when you're choosing which tiles to move. For instance, if you have a character who's about to die, you want to watch for their symbols and make sure you don't match their symbols, because otherwise they'll get hit. Of course, if it's an area effect, it doesn't really matter though. The third tip is time your powers, don't use them all willy-nilly. Now this is something that the AI does weirdly, and I'm always astounded whenever I see them do it. But just because you've got enough AP to use a power, that doesn't mean you need to use it right then at that moment. If you have the opportunity to swap 2 tiles, but you don't have an awesome match, you know what? Wait until next turn. You don't have to do it the moment it's available. There's also a lot of powers that have conditions, whether after you hit a certain number of AP, then the ability can change, or if you activate one, it changes the others to another. You want to make sure that you're keeping track of those things, and so that as soon as you have all the yellow for one person's ability, you don't want to use it because it also could fuel another person's ability, and you really need to keep track of those things. A little bit of temperance goes a long way. Tip number 4 is fight the same fight for more rewards. So most fights can be fought multiple times, unless they're special or they're event things or whatever. But otherwise, you can repeat the same fight over and over. Each time, the enemies will become stronger and stronger, but also each time you get new rewards. And it increases your progress bar so that you can hit those big rewards that you get. So there are fight rewards, and then there's event rewards that you're trying to work towards as well. At a certain point, they do stop giving you the same amount and they start to diminish. You can take a moment and wait for those to replenish. I rarely do. It's often not worth it. I focus on the 6 fights that usually you can do 6 times. And I just fight the 6 fights in a row, get them over and done with, get my individual rewards. And even the little bit of points towards the main event is usually enough as long as you're making sure that you're fighting all of the stuff. Also, you want to make sure that you go through the prologue, because the prologue has lots of rewards for you to grab, and it will really, really help you build up your initial roster. Tip number 5 is only spend your gold coins on new character slots. And this is a big one. And you'll have a lot of different characters thrown at you, but you can't keep them if you don't have slots for them. They also scale in cost. They start off at 100 per, and then eventually they're 1,000 coins per. And it's annoying, and it's 1,000 for me right now. And the game is going to lure you into spending your coins on lots of other stuff, new covers or boosting stuff. Ignore all of that. Until you have a slot for every character, you need to only spend them on your slots. And eventually you'll get there. It took me a while, but I'm there now where I actually can spend my gold coins on other things besides slots. But actually, anytime that they introduce a new character, bam, I have to buy a new slot now for that new character. That's just how it works. And the last tip for this video is play the daily Deadpool. At first, it won't be the easiest thing to tackle, but every day your roster is going to get stronger and you'll get more and more rewards. It's totally worth the huge amount of ISO 8 that it gives you. It's about 20 to 25,000 ISO 8 a day. If you have the right characters, there's also a fight that you can get some command points. There's so many awesome things that you can get from playing the daily Deadpool. Also, even playing a single fight in the daily Deadpool is enough to qualify for having played for the day, and it makes your alliance much happier because then everybody benefits. So like I said, play it every day, and it's a really good gauge on whether you're getting better or not. So those are 6 tips that I have for beginning players. What other tips do you have for beginning players? Let me know down in the comments. And if you have ideas for videos, do let me know. And until next time, thank you for visiting MPQ Mastery, where we help you to destroy more gems. Thanks for watching that video. I want you to let me know what the next character profile we should do is. I have a couple lined up, 3-star Star-Lord, and so many more that I'd love to do, but let me know down in the comments what you want to see.